Hey guys, welcome to this week's podcast episode. I've got a really fantastic guest for you today, Anupam Singh, and he's calling from out of Australia, and he's the CEO of Acute Professional Services. And we're going to conduct this fireside chat with five themes: simplifying complexity, business approach to problem solving, clear solutions for complex problems, strategic thinking for clarity, and turning recommendations into reality. And Anupam's going to come and talk about all of these things from his experience and lens, and I'm happy to welcome him to the show. So, Anupam, welcome.
Thank you, Krishna. Happy to be here.
Yeah. Yeah, just for the audience, a little bit of technical issues with the mics, but we'll do our best and kind of set the stage and tone for your background and experience, and we will lay the groundwork for the conversation.
Yes, I mean, just to clarify, the issues are at my end. Christopher's issues are, it's all working fine at his end, so apologies as well.
Yeah, so Anupam, set the stage for the conversation. Talk about your experience and background, what you do, and that will lay the groundwork for what we're going to talk about in the discussion today.
All right, so uh, so first of all, thank you, Christopher, for having me here. In terms of my background, I've been a business consultant for all my life, basically. I started my career as tech support for Microsoft many years ago, and during that time, I mean, when you're early out of college and you just don't know what really you want to do in life. Funnily enough, that job gave me some sort of realization because I was really good at problem solving. So tech support is about problem solving, correct? So I quickly realized that I was very good at understanding people's problems and then empathizing with them and also figuring out the best course of action to fix their issues and challenges. So I sort of took that upon myself that okay, this could be good because it comes to me naturally. Maybe I'm a natural problem solver and I can see through the problems and figure out how to find the best solutions for them. So it progressed through, and then ultimately, I came to Australia almost 20 years ago. Worked through the corporate world for I don't know, it was quite a long time, and then started to open up my own company. And over the course of my work with different corporations, one thing I've realized is it's always important to be involved and be in line and sync with the mindset of the team that you're currently working with, and ensure that they're also in line with the mindset of the organization. Because often you see there is a disconnect, and when there is a disconnect, the problem there is either you can have a fantastic team, but if they're not aligned with you, they might not deliver what's valuable or beneficial for the org. And the inverse is also possible. You might be a part of a fantastic org, but the team's not, and then the outcome still doesn't get delivered to the optimal level that you prefer them to be. So I think my some of my clients have used the term. I'm like the technology whisperer, or because I speak both languages and it becomes easier. Not many people see technology as a very complicated and challenging area, especially if they are non-technical themselves, right? So, and I come in and I just explain things in a simple manner, and they're like, "Hey, you just made it sound so simple." I said, "Yeah, that's my job because if I don't explain it to you in a simple term and you don't understand it, the whole notion of this conversation, I mean, is useless because fundamentally my job is to ensure that you as a client or whoever I'm working with, they don't see technology as a super complicated thing. It's not a beast. It is a beast, yes. But if you have the right understanding of it, you can actually work with me much better as opposed to me trying to shove down the harsh, complicated terminologies of complex technology down your throat and say, "Hey, this is what you're getting." So it's more about bringing them along the journey so they understand what they're being involved into and they enjoy the journey along the way. So fundamentally, I've created a career out of educating people, non-technical people, in simple terms and bring them along the journey. So the end results are always really, really good going. And no, I would probably not say always, but most of the time that wouldn't be. And fundamentally, I think it becomes a very enjoyable journey for myself as well, because I've got the stakeholders, I've got the businesses working with me, along with the technology people, and it's like the collaboration that comes out of it is fantastic.
Yeah. So like I said, what's interesting is this idea of strategic thinking for clarity, and it's a core part. So how do you apply strategic thinking to help clients gain clarity and provide an example that led to a successful outcome?
So strategic thinking fundamentally, it could be it could mean different things for different organizations and different people. So end of the day, it's all about the way I see it is usually organizations have two things in mind: either make more money or save more money. So it's about the bottom line, correct? So that's why people are in business. They either want to make money or save money. Either way, the bottom line has to grow. So how do we get there? So that understanding that particular component is really important. And fundamentally, what happens in terms of that is, if you're trying to solve a particular problem, you just sit down with the leaders, execs, and try to understand what's your core objective here. Half the time, trust me, many a times people just make blanket statements without realizing how to actually achieve that. And my job usually is to sit down with them. So to give an example, one of my clients, they they wanted to create an e-commerce platform, right? And what they really wanted to do was to achieve. So they wanted to create a retail business, and we came into the picture. And my objective, I sat down with her and said, "Okay, why do you want to create a retail business?" Oh, everyone's. I just needed a part-time income, or everyone's running retail, so I thought it might be a good idea. And the funny thing was, she already had ordered stock, and she didn't even understand the fundamentals of what she wanted to achieve. So I sat down with her and I started discussions around, okay, so you've got all this stuff sitting there. What about your target market? Do you understand it? No, I thought, I'll just have a website and I'll start selling from tomorrow. I said, no, that's not how it works. You've got the stock, you've got the target market. You don't even have clarity on your target market. You don't even understand how it works. So let me explain you how it works. So when I explained her, took her through the journey, all of a sudden, she really was not happy with her decision. And I'm not saying that I did that in a detrimental sense, but this is the harsh reality. I'm talking about a small business example here. People need to engage consultants beforehand, before they even start a business, right? So consultants can sit down with them and tell them that the plan they're trying to make is viable. And honest consultants will always give you the harsh truth and also hold your hand along the way. Nonetheless, the result of that conversation was whatever I told her, I said, look, you can give it a shot, you can try it, but I can guarantee that it's not going to work. And that's exactly what happened. So the business person, she tried it for a few months and then it didn't actually quite work out, and then she gave up. But funnily enough, she called me back 6 months later and saying, thank you for that advice. You saved me a lot of money there, because I was planning to bring in more stock, and that actually, because of your advice, I sat back and thought through it and realized that it's not worth the investment, so I stopped it there. However, I've got a new business idea. What do you think? And then we talked about it. Now, she went from a retail business all the way to a printing business. Very different domains, right? So then we talked about the printing domain and we discussed everything. And then we said, okay, look, let's do one thing. You already have invested time and effort in building website and creating a portfolio and all that. My team can help you revisit all that and reuse it to the best of best of our ability, understanding that these are two distinct domains. However, the money that you've already invested in designing all this should not go wasted. So using that fundamental, what we did was we basically repurposed the website, we repurposed the logo, we repurposed the whole brand for it. And what that allowed us to do was to mitigate or minimize waste. And that's one of the things that we do. Companies spend a lot of money, but they also throw away a lot of money. And our job, or what we have done for many of our clients, is to save that money. And that's where I think understanding the strategy of what they're trying to achieve allow you to determine, okay, what's the best course of action? Do you need a brand new application? Do you need to revisit your processes, or can you revisit your existing tools and technologies and repurpose them? So there's number of ways of skinning the cat, but the reality is like you need to understand where their head is and also make them realize where their head is. Unless they realize what they want to achieve, it's really difficult to provide a tangible solution. So I hope I'm making sense here, but
Yeah. Yeah, really interesting. We may have you on back on the show because you have a lot of insights and it's kind of the audio is kind of but kind of tell people how they can find you, follow you, reach out to you, etc.
well, I'm on LinkedIn and I can the link can be supplied. Plus, we have a website where you can reach out to us. You can fill up a form, and one of our team members will get in touch with you. We have a phone number you can call us on. So the standard methods of contacting. We do have a Facebook page, but it's not very active per se. But LinkedIn, email, or web page or website would be the best way to contact us.
Yeah. Yeah. For all the audience out there, let's thank Anupam for coming on. Again, we do apologize for the audio issues and all of his links will be in the resources and with that, thanks so much for coming onto the podcast.
Thanks for having me.